Hello, so we'd like to look at some trig identities. Let's try to get started together. So the first question we have cosine over secant. Now, one of the things which we can do is express everything in terms of sine and cosine. So the first one becomes cosine theta over secant is 1 over cosine theta. Now, plus sine theta over 1 over sine theta. Now that has to be equal to 1. But division by a fraction, that can be expressed as multiplication by its reciprocal. So therefore, this portion becomes cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta, which is equal to 1. But we know that this identity is in fact equal to 1, so therefore, there it goes. Now let's look at the second one. Tangent of angle A plus B. If you remember, this becomes tangent of A plus tangent of B divided by 1 minus, the signs are opposite, tangent of A times tangent of B. Now all I'm going to be doing is expressing those these two values. So we end up getting 3 plus negative 1/2 over 1 minus 3 times negative 1/2. Then here we end up getting 2.5 on the numerator. And on the denominator, we end up having negative. Negative becomes positive here. So 1.5 with 1, so we end up getting 2.5. So therefore, our final answer becomes 1. Alright, so next is this question. We have to express sine of 2 theta, cosine of 2 theta, and then tangent of 2 theta. Now, sine of 2 theta is in fact equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. Then in this case, in case of A, we are looking at sine of 2 times 225. Now that becomes 2 times sine of 225 times cosine of 225. In fact, this becomes sine of 225 is it is on the third quadrant, and then this that's equal to, therefore it's negative, sine of the reference angle being 45. That's basically what we end up getting. So is cosine. Then what we end up getting is 2 times negative, this portion becomes radical 2 over 2 times negative radical 2 over 2. Now, then what do we end up getting? Yes, negative times negative becomes positive, so this 2 cancels out with this 2. And radical 2 times radical 2 becomes 2 divided by 2 becomes simply 1. That's what we end up getting. Alright, now let's look at the next one. Number B. Cosine of 2 theta. Now, one way for us to do it is this. Cosine of 2 theta is, since we already got the values of each one, 1 minus 2 sine square theta. Now that means 1 minus 2 sine of 225, as we know, because that's what we have to plug in for the angle theta, is in fact equal to negative radical 2 over 2 square. Then we get to realize that this becomes 1, and then 1 minus 1 becomes 0. Let's look at C for a second. C is the tangent of 2 theta. Tangent of 2 theta, in fact, is equal to 2 tangent theta divided by 1 minus tangent squared theta. That's basically what it is. Now, then we're looking at tangent of 225. But when you look into tangent of 225, it is on the third quadrant. So that's equal to 2 times tangent of 45 over 1 minus tangent square of 45 degrees. Now, since tangent of 45 is equal to 1, we end up getting 2 over 0, which is equal to undefined. Alright, let's look into the next question. Here. So we have to look at these three things here. Sine of 2 theta. Once again, and then in this case, since it's in first quadrant, one thing that which you get to realize is this. After drawing a triangle, this must be 3 and then this must be 5, given that this angle is angle theta. Then using the Pythagorean theorem, we get to realize that this hypotenuse would have been h squared will be equal to 3 squared plus 5 squared, which we get to know this one to be 34. So this becomes square root of 34. Alright, then how do you figure out the sine of 2 theta? Sine of 2 theta is equal to, as we know, 2 sine theta cosine theta. Then here we have 2 times sine theta becomes 3 over square root of 34, and cosine theta becomes 5 over square root of 34. Then here we have 30 over 34, which is equal to 15 over 17. That's what we end up getting. Alright, that was A. B would be cosine of 2 theta. Then cosine of 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Then 1 minus 2 sine theta was equal to 3 over square root of 34, and then square. Then what we end up getting is this. This becomes 9 over 34. 9 times 2 becomes 18. So we end up getting 1 minus 18 over 34. Now, then this becomes 16 over 34, which is equal to 8 over 17. That's what we end up getting. Alright, let us move on to C. C is the tangent of 2 theta. Tangent of 2 theta is equal to 2 tangent theta over 1 minus tangent squared theta. Now, since tangent theta was 5 over 3, we end up getting 2 times 5 over 3 over 1 minus, actually it was 3 over 5, sorry. So if I have to rewrite this one, 3 over 5, and then 3 over 5 squared. Then here we end up having 6 over 5 all over. This becomes 1 minus 9 over 25, which will be equal to 6 over 5 over 16 over 25. If you have to simplify this one further, then we'll end up getting 6 over 5 times 25 over 16. Once you simplify this one further, it becomes 5, 3, and then 8. We end up getting 15 over 8. Now, since all values are positive, we get to realize that part D was finding out the quadrant. Since all of them are positive, it must be first quadrant. Alright. What if this one is in the fourth quadrant? It says, fourth quadrant, then let us try to look into this one. Secant is 1 over cosine theta. This implies that cosine of theta is equal to 2 over radical 13. Based upon this one, we can create a triangle here. We have hypotenuse is radical 13 and adjacent is 2, and that is angle theta. Then you should realize that this must be side 3 by the Pythagorean theorem. Then in this case, we get to realize that yes, cosine might be 2 over radical 13, but sine, since it's in fourth quadrant, has to be equal to negative 3 over radical 13. And so is tangent. Tangent must be negative 3 over 2. Then, what is sine of 2 theta, sine of 2 theta is 2 times these two, which is equal to 2 over radical 13 times negative 3 over radical 13. Then here we end up having negative 12 over 13 becomes our answer. B. How about cosine of 2 theta? Then in this case we end up getting 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Then here we have 1 minus 2 times sine is what? 2 over radical 13 squared. Then this portion becomes 1 minus 2 squared becomes 4, so 8 over 13. Then this becomes what we end up getting is 5 over 13 becomes our answer. Now C. When you look into tangent of 2 theta is equal to 2 times tangent theta over 1 minus tangent squared theta. That's basically what we're looking at. Then we end up getting 2 times 3 over 2 over 1 minus 3 over 2 squared. And here we have 3 as a numerator. On the denominator we end up having 1 minus 9 over 4. Now if you multiply top and bottom by 4, we get to realize that it becomes 12 over negative 5, which is equal to negative 12 over 5. That becomes our answer. Since tangent and sine is negative and cosine is positive, it must be another fourth quadrant. Quadrant number 4. That must be our quadrant. Alright. Use the half angle formula to find out these values. Now, one other thing which we have to do is, what is the sine of half angle formula? We'll try to continue from here right after.